Ever feel like you've seen it all? Think again, because these 15 picks are about to flip your cinema world upside down. Today, we're digging deep into the celluloid vault to uncover the top 15 movies from the 1960s Scorsese wants you to watch. These are films that didn't just shape a generation, they shaped the legendary Martin Scorsese himself. Ready to see cinema through the eyes of a master? Buckle up, cinephiles. Let's journey together through razor-sharp thrillers, mind-blowing dramas, and aching tales of love and loss that'll make your movie-loving heart skip a beat. The Leopard, Il Gattopardo, 1963. Set amidst the crumbling aristocracy of 19th century Sicily, The Leopard is an epic meditation on change, decadence, and fading glory. Prince Selina, played with world-weary elegance by Burt Lancaster, watches his world transform as Italy marches toward unification. But don't let the grand sets and opulent costumes fool you. This isn't just a costume drama, it's a soul-searching odyssey through the corridors of power and mortality. The cast is absolutely stacked. Along with Lancaster, you get the ever-alluring Claudia Cardinale and the enigmatic Alain Delon. Directing is Luchino Visconti, a maestro whose sense of visual poetry is on full display. His painterly compositions and slow-burning pacing make every frame a work of art, dripping with nostalgia and melancholy. Fun fact, Visconti insisted on shooting the iconic ballroom scene with 300 real candles and miles of velvet. Cinema as tactile as it gets. When it debuted, The Leopard had a lukewarm box office and mixed reviews in America. Can you believe it? Yet its reputation has only soared. Scorsese calls it one of the most beautiful films ever made, and you'll see its fingerprints all over his own epics. Are you ready to witness grandeur with a razor-sharp edge? This is one for your big screen, dim lights, and heart wide open. Shadows, 1959/1960. Wide release, raw, restless, and absolutely electric. Shadows is the kind of film that makes you want to grab a camera and chase the truth. This is John Cassavetes' revolutionary jazz-infused portrait of interracial love and artistic struggle on the neon-lit streets of New York City. It's so alive, you can practically smell the sweat and cigarette smoke. Shadows features a cast of unknowns, Lelia Goldoni, Ben Carruthers, and Hugh Hurd, whose improvisational performances blur the line between acting and living. Cassavetes, the godfather of American independent cinema, financed the movie with friends' money, shot guerrilla style, and let his actors run wild with emotion. Talk about cinematic rebellion. It bombed commercially on first release, but who cares? Critics didn't know what to make of it, but the film's bracing honesty and kinetic style quickly earned it cult status. For Scorsese and countless others, Shadows was a revelation, proof that movies could be intimate, immediate, and unfiltered. Want to see the DNA of modern indie film? Look no further. 8½, 1963. Ready for a trip through the wildest corners of the filmmaker's psyche? 8½ is Federico Fellini's dazzling, dreamlike plunge into the mind of a block director, played by the incomparable Marcello Mastroianni. Reality and fantasy swirl together in a swirling carnival of memory, lust, and longing. The cast is a who's who of European cinema, from Anouk Aimée to Claudia Cardinale. Fellini's longtime composer, Nino Rota, supplies a score that dances and haunts in equal measure. The shoot was chaotic, plagued by script rewrites and existential crises, which only adds to the movie's raw, confessional power. Though a critical darling in Italy, 8½ puzzled American audiences at first. Today, it's hailed as the ultimate film about film, inspiring everyone from Woody Allen to, yes, Martin Scorsese himself. If you love movies that make your head spin and your soul ache, this is essential viewing. How's the ride so far? Ready for more Italian magic? Let's keep going. The Big City, Mahanagar, 1963. From the rain-soaked streets of Kolkata comes one of world cinema's quiet masterpieces. Satyajit Ray's The Big City is the story of Arati, a shy housewife who enters the workforce to support her family and discovers her own independence along the way. It's a film as soft as a whisper, but as powerful as a tidal wave. Madhabi Mukherjee's nuanced, luminous performance anchors the film, while Ray's deft direction captures the emotional turbulence beneath everyday life. The behind the scenes? Ray wrote, directed, and even composed the music of a one-man cinematic orchestra. While it didn't set box offices ablaze, The Big City won the Silver Bear at Berlin and drew admiration from none other than Scorsese, who calls Ray's work achingly beautiful. This film's influence ripples through generations, proving that the most ordinary lives are worthy of epic storytelling. Seen it? If not, you're in for a rare treat. Cape Fear, 1962. Before Scorsese remade it in the 90s, there was J. Lee Thompson's razor-sharp original, a pulse-pounding tale of vengeance and terror. Gregory Peck is the upright lawyer. Robert Mitchum is Max Cady, one of cinema's most chilling villains, stalking his prey with a sly smile and cold-blooded calm. The cast is pure old-school Hollywood. Peck's square-jawed righteousness squares off against Mitchum's sadistic swagger, creating tension so thick you can cut it with a knife. Bernard Herrmann, the legendary composer of Psycho, delivers a score that's all shrieking strings and creeping dread. Cape Fear was modestly successful at the box office and, over time, earned a reputation as one of the great psychological thrillers. Scorsese saw it as a masterclass in suspense, and who are we to argue? If you crave movies that keep you up at night, this is one to watch with the lights on. Point Blank, 1967. Looking for a movie that's all attitude and atmosphere? Point Blank is the cool, color-soaked revenge thriller that blew minds in the summer of love. Lee Marvin is Walker, a betrayed gangster stalking the neon underworld of Los Angeles, a performance so cold, it's volcanic. Directed by John Boorman, Point Blank took Hollywood's crime formula and detonated it with jump cuts, wild colors, and existential despair. The movie bombed in the States, but critics in Europe went wild for it, and so did a young Scorsese. The film's fractured narrative and icy style are obvious inspirations for the likes of Taxi Driver and Mean Streets. Behind the scenes, Marvin insisted on doing many of his own stunts and even rewrote scenes to fit his minimalist, haunted style. If you dig films that feel both timeless and way ahead of their time, Point Blank is your jam. Still with me? We're only just getting started. The Battle of Algiers, 1966. Prepare for a cinematic gut punch. The Battle of Algiers is Gillo Pontecorvo's blistering docudrama about urban warfare and revolution in French-occupied Algeria. Shot in a gritty newsreel style with non-professional actors, it's as urgent and unflinching as cinema gets. No stars here, just real faces, real sweat, and real fear. The score by Ennio Morricone ratchets up the tension to nerve-shredding levels. Production fact: French authorities reportedly banned the film for years, fearing it would inspire unrest. While it struggled with censors, critics embraced its raw power, and it became required viewing for political activists and military strategists worldwide. Scorsese has called it the definitive political thriller, and you can feel its DNA in his own unvarnished approach to violence and power. Looking for a film that rattles the cage of history? Here's your answer. Two for the Road, 1967. On the surface, it's just a romantic road trip, but underneath, Two for the Road is an achingly honest portrait of love's twists and turns. Audrey Hepburn and Albert Finney play a couple whose marriage is shown in nonlinear fragments, from euphoric beginnings to bitter arguments. Director Stanley Donen, better known for splashy musicals, brings wit and elegance to this razor-sharp script by Frederick Raphael. Hepburn called it one of her favorite roles, and you can see why. She's radiant, vulnerable, and devastatingly real. It wasn't a blockbuster, but over the decades, Two for the Road has become a beloved cult film, especially for fans of unconventional storytelling. Scorsese cites its inventive structure as a major influence. If you loved Goodfellas, jumpy editing, thank this film. Ready to hit the road with heartbreak and hope in tow? This one's for you. Peeping Tom, 1960. Long before Psycho shocked the world, Michael Powell's Peeping Tom was there, slicing through audiences with a chilling story of obsession and voyeurism. Carl Boehm plays Mark, a shy cameraman with a deadly secret. He films his victims' last moments. It's a movie that stares back at you. Powell, one half of the great Powell and Pressburger duo, was nearly exiled from British cinema for this audacious film. It bombed hard, with critics calling it sick and perverse. But time has vindicated Powell's razor-sharp study of voyeurism, violence, and the dark heart of filmmaking itself. Scorsese has championed Peeping Tom as a misunderstood masterpiece, and its influence is everywhere, from De Palma's Blowout to the raw intensity of Taxi Driver. Ready for a movie that'll haunt your dreams and make you question your own gaze? Dive in. The Swimmer, 1968. A surreal sun-drenched odyssey through suburban America. The Swimmer is a film like no other. Burt Lancaster stars as Ned Merrill, a man who decides to swim home through the backyard pools of his affluent neighbors. With every stroke, the story peels back the layers of the American dream, revealing rot beneath the surface. Directed by Frank Perry, the film had a troubled shoot and was nearly shelved by the studio. Lancaster trained for months to play Ned's physical and emotional unraveling. The box office was lukewarm, but critics have since hailed it as a cult classic. Scorsese calls it tragic, poetic, and utterly unforgettable. If you crave films that twist your expectations and linger in your mind, The Swimmer is a must. Are you loving this journey so far? Let's keep those swimming trunks on. We're not done yet. Faces, 1968. Buckle up for a film that feels like eavesdropping on the messiest, rawest night of your life. Faces, another John Cassavetes masterpiece, takes us deep into the hearts and hurts of a crumbling marriage. Richard and Maria navigate a boozy, brutal, emotional landscape, their faces caught in trembling close-ups. Shot on handheld 16mm cameras, Faces was made for peanuts. Cassavetes mortgaged his house and begged, borrowed, and stole to finish it. The result? A film so intimate you almost want to look away. It wasn't a box office hit, but it snagged 3 Oscar nominations and blew open the doors for American independent film. Scorsese calls it unflinching and human, a clear ancestor to his own raw, real approach. If you think 60s cinema is all style and no substance, Faces will prove you wrong. Who's ready for more raw power? High and Low, 1963. Ever wanted to see a crime thriller so tightly wound it could snap steel? High and Low, directed by the legendary Akira Kurosawa, is a gripping, high-stakes drama about a businessman whose world unravels after a botched kidnapping. The plot shifts from a sweltering mansion to the grimy underbelly of Yokohama, a microcosm of Japanese society in crisis. Mifune's performance is volcanic, as always. Kurosawa's masterful camera work and sense of pacing turn a simple ransom plot into a searing meditation on class, guilt, and justice. Behind the scenes, Kurosawa's meticulous storyboarding and innovative use of widescreen elevated this police procedural into pure art. High and Low wasn't a massive hit in America, but wowed critics and filmmakers, including Scorsese, who calls it one of the great films about moral choice. Want a thriller with brains, heart, and a gut-punch ending? This is it. Mickey 1, 1965. Talk about a fever dream. Mickey 1, directed by Arthur Penn, is a surreal, Kafkaesque riff on showbiz paranoia. Warren Beatty plays a stand-up comic on the run from shadowy mobsters in a nightmarish, jazz-infused Chicago. It's as if French New Wave and American noir had a wild, psychedelic baby. Penn, who'd later direct Bonnie and Clyde, pulls out all the stops, jumpy editing, abstract visuals, and a jazz score by Eddie Sauter and Stan Getz. Beatty, still years away from superstardom, delivers a performance that's all jittery energy and haunted eyes. Mickey won, baffled audiences, and tanked at the box office. But it found new life as a cult oddity, especially among directors like Scorsese, who calls it pure, anxious energy. Love movies that throw out the rule book? This is one to seek out. Still hanging in? We're coming up on the home stretch. The Firemans Ball, 1967. Ready for some biting satire? Milos Forman's The Fireman's Ball is a riotous, sly takedown of small-town bureaucracy in communist-era Czechoslovakia. At a disastrous fireman's fundraiser, everything goes wrong, raffles are stolen, beauty pageants collapse, and the party descends into pure chaos. Forman cast non-professional actors from the town, lending the film a deadpan, documentary vibe. Production was fraught with political risk. The authorities hated the film's unflattering portrait of officialdom and promptly banned it. But word spread, and The Fireman's Ball became a favorite at international festivals, snagging an Oscar nomination. Scorsese adores its humane absurdity and razor-sharp observation. The film's anarchic spirit paved the way for Forman's later triumphs, and if you love movies that mix laughs with sharp social critique, this one's essential. Who knew disaster could be so hilarious? The Innocence, 1961. Last but far from least, we have a Gothic masterpiece that'll send shivers down your spine. The Innocence, directed by Jack Clayton, adapts Henry James's The Turn of the Screw into one of the most exquisitely chilling ghost stories ever filmed. Deborah Kerr stars as a governess who suspects her young charges are possessed by evil spirits. Are the ghosts real, or is madness creeping in? Clayton's direction is all shadows, mirrors, and eerie silences. Cinematographer Freddie Francis uses black and white cinemascope to create a haunted dreamscape. Each shot is like a painting dipped in dread. Fun fact, the film's special effects were achieved with clever lighting tricks, not expensive technology. Critics were impressed, but audiences slept on this one until later generations revived it as a cult classic, citing its slow-burn terror and psychological complexity. Scorsese lists The Innocence among his favorite horror films ever. Want a film that'll haunt you long after the credits? You found it. What a wild, wondrous journey through the 60s. These aren't just movies. These are the lifeblood of cinema, the building blocks of Scorsese's genius, and the secret treasures that deserve a place in your heart. Which hidden gem are you hunting down next? Drop your pick in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe to Movieverse for more mind-blowing journeys into forgotten cinematic gold. Ring the bell, stay curious, and I promise, we're just getting started. See you at the movies.